Hi guys. So I wanted to get on this morning and talk to you about the importance of think, feel, do. Think, feel, do. Why is that so important? Well, it's quite honestly the way that you enter any state that you want. Think, feel, do. Okay? Think because the idea must come from you first, then you attach emotions to it, and then the emotions cause you to act. But all three must go together in order to enter any state. Okay? So when you're doing affirmations are great so long as you're actually applying. This is where the think, feel, do goes in hand, because you think of the affirmations, then you feel the emotions in, and then you must act accordingly. Otherwise, you're like a parrot with amnesia. You've forgotten what you just declared over yourself. It makes no sense. So think, feel, do. It's very important. So as an example, if I want to be rich, I can tell myself I'm rich all day long. But if I don't behave like a rich person, then I haven't done the do part, the part that requires my action to match, to align, so that I can show my mind that I mean business, and then my mind will go about reproducing whatever I want. See, the thing is you have to apply these things in order for it to make sense. Your wisdom is gained from the experience of actually applying these things. It doesn't happen any other way. You know, a lot of you say to me, Sin, you make it sound so simple, you make it sound so easy. Yes, because it's an application. So as an example, when I tell you guys, read Heal Your Wounds, Find Your True Self at least 10 times in order to understand it, here's why I said it. If you are on a healing journey, the most important thing to recognize is how you set things up. See, if you read the book, you would understand why your parents behave the way that they do, why you chose them, why your children behave the way that they do, why your partners have behaved the way that they do. Everything. You would understand it all. Boom! Click. There is nothing to forgive when you understand. You set up the whole thing. You see how the whole thing runs on autopilot? See, if you really truly want to heal, you have to take ownership of that. So the very first step in healing is look at yourself, warts and all. Look at your creation and see how you made it. That is where Heal Your Wounds, Find Your True Self comes into play, because this is how you understand that everything was made on autopilot, and you can see the storyline and how and what exactly you came to fix. So by facing it, by having the courage to face it and look at it and be like, okay, I see the inner workings. I see how they've been developed. I see how I made this. I can also see that there's nothing to forgive, that I set up the whole thing. So if I'm holding anything back, then I have not understood that I am the one responsible for the way that things are occurring in my life. So I've missed the point. I've missed the mark. But if I really truly want to heal, I have to own it. So looking at it is the first step. It's the most important step. Okay? Secondly, it's applying forgiveness, because if you understand that you created it all, by not forgiving any one person, you're forgetting that you created all circumstances in order for you to see this. This is why you are here. This is why these things happen. Most of you suffer because you keep asking why of causation. That makes no sense, you guys. It makes no sense to ask why of causation if you were the reason for it happening in the first place. See, taking responsibility of it helps you understand how and why you did the things that you did. This allows the forgiveness to happen because you understand. So nothing has to change except your understanding. You must climb up the ladder of your experience and be able to look at it and understand it. Next, with forgiveness, you get to work on your new story and you live from there. So as an example, okay, if I want to convince myself that I am the one, like hands down, I am the one. Okay, so I take the time and I say, I am the one, I am the one, I am the one, over and over again like a parrot. Let's just say I'm trying really hard to convince myself of this situation. All right, so I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, okay? When the opportunity arises, this is not the time for me to fear circumstances. This is not the time for me to be insecure. You see, that is the temptation you are trying to avoid because your flesh has already done that. Your spirit, on the other hand, knows better, so you must behave according to your new state. This is how you enter it. You guys hire me sometimes because you want to be the one that's being chased. And then I tell you, okay, stop chasing. Stop calling. Stop dialing. Let them make the effort. Use the law of reverse effort in your favor. And yet, you guys argue with me and go, but if I don't call, he won't call. Well, if that's the case, darling, why the fuck are you behaving like not the one? Because the one doesn't call. They call you. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Your 3D must match your state. And if you want it to match, if you want it to enter the state, then you must behave accordingly. You can't go, oh, but then, because see, here's the thing. If I stop calling and I discover that the only reason I get a phone call is because I'm the one calling, then clearly I'm doing something wrong. I'm discovering how many dead plants I'm watering. And you got to be willing to face that. If you discover that the only reason they call is when they need something, you got to be the one to face that. So you have to face the reality in the present moment and see what you're doing and then change your behavior. You cannot do the same things that isn't working, hire somebody, and then not apply what they told you to do and expect it to work. You have to be exactly as you are attempting to convince yourself that you are. It's think, feel, do. This is the state of being. I cannot sit here and say, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, not feel that wealth, and then be afraid to pay a bill. You see how my actions don't align, and so then everything that I did, all that work of repeating 100 million times, I'm rich, was just kaput for no reason at all because I went back to the old state. When it comes to healing, healing is easy. You have to be willing to look at it and see the bigger picture, though. You have to understand, as creator, you can make sense of the whole thing. As a victim, you're only going to see your side from the victim mentality. In order to heal, you have to be willing to really apply what these books are saying. These books give you the answers. If you have lacked understanding because you say, well, I read it, it didn't do anything for me. Clearly, you didn't understand the whole thing, because if you read that book, like I said, everything would be forgiven. Your parents, your children, your partners, all of it. Because you would understand one thing. Your wounds made them behave on autopilot in the same way that you behaved on autopilot. And just as innocent as you are, so is the rest of the world. There is nothing to forgive. There is simply an understanding that I needed to look at the whole purpose of my existence. I came here with built-in adversity. I came here to look at it, and then I came here to use that adversity and make it my bitch. And this is true of everybody. This is how you discover who you are. So if I'm not going to do that, how is this going to serve me? I can't avoid it. And when you realize that, it's very different. You're behaving like someone who owns themselves. And that's important. It's super, super important to your life, to your experiences, to your manifestations, because you'll realize that the only reason you don't have instant manifestations is your inner resistance. And inner resistance is a result of lack of forgiveness, lack of understanding, a lack of the bigger picture. Do you see? That's resistance. When you no longer have that, you've collapsed that, you're going to have instant manifestations all the time. it's not hard, it's not difficult, it's not anything. You got to be willing to do the work though. If you want to heal, you got to be willing to look at it. You got to be willing to see the bigger picture. You got to understand. Then you got to let it go. Then you have to behave accordingly. You cannot behave like a wounded bird all the time. You have to agree that you can fly. Application is key. Okay? Application is key. So, for example, if I want to be treated like the one and I feel like I'm not being treated like the one, having the courage to walk away is important, because the one doesn't get treated badly ever. So you have to match it. You have to match it. You have to see what you're doing. And if your actions don't align with your affirmations, then basically what you're doing is called wishful thinking, not matching the state. This is not helping anybody. You have to think like the person you are trying to emulate. You have to be like the person you're trying to emulate. And that person is inside of you, because every experience is nothing more than your conditioned state of being made flesh. It already works this way. It already works this way. But you have to match the actions. Okay? So if chasing someone causes them to run, you stop chasing so they can show you whether or not they're actually there for you. And you have to be willing to look at that. And then you have to be willing to address it in the moment, say whatever you have to say, and then their actions have to be aligning. But you can't be afraid to face reality. You can't be afraid to face reality right now as it is, and you still have to behave like the person that you're trying to emulate. You still have to do this part in order for it to match. You still have to really, truly live from that state. And you will know it because 3D checks you. 3D always appears as you are. You must be present to that. You have to realize that. You have to actually apply these things. You know? But if you have but if I don't do this, or if then I'm not sure how coachable you are. I'm not sure how coachable you are if you're going to give me a but. Because here's the thing. Circumstances are your bitch. You must make them that. And this is true of everybody. Your wisdom comes from how you did that. So it's necessary. This way you're present, you're in 3D, and you're actually being what you set out to do. The adversity is built in. You were told that from the beginning. See, in the Bible, you guys were told this from the beginning. You were told all the problems on earth. You were told about slavery. You were told about murder. You were told about human trafficking. You were told these things were there. This is not a mystery. In other words, we have built-in wounds that we uphold. We are all like little projectors out in the world. And so when you understand that, you understand your wounds cause people to run on autopilot. Does it make sense to be angry at your parents? Does it make sense to be angry? No, because you are its creator. It doesn't make sense for you to understand that the whole purpose of your existence is for you to enter the movie and be the best life and have the best life according to you. You are deciding, but you have to understand the power of that in order to enter it and be and have everything that you want. This is the design, you guys, but you still have to apply it. You still have to apply it. If you don't apply it, it makes no sense. It makes no sense, okay? 3D must check you. You want to hear I love you a lot, okay? You don't say it for them. They say it for you. They check you. This is the way it works. Your 3D checks you. So you don't do things for the sake of If, is it there yet? Is it there yet? Is it there yet? That shows lack of confidence of the way that things are made. Things are made in here first, then you enter them. Here first, then you enter them by behaving exactly as what you've created inside. And then you enter it outside. But 3D will check you because 3D matches you. So they show up with flowers. They call all the time. They behave accordingly. Because someone who loves themselves has this as their natural thermostat. You know how the wealthy have a wealth thermostat? So for example, Elon Musk's thermostat is set to however hundreds of billions of dollars that he has. That is his normal thermostat. If you are the one, your thermostat must be set at the 1. So the 1 doesn't take crap. The 1 is herself. The 1 gets phone calls. The 1 doesn't chase. The 1 doesn't accept crap. The 1 will teach this person how to love or let go to make room for the 1 that does. We never tolerate bad behavior. Like ever. And we don't sit here and hold on to someone and pray to God for God to make this person do the bare minimum that should be done anyway because they love you. It's an automatic. So if someone doesn't love me, I'm not going to accept that behavior. It's not love. Why should I? I am love itself. You must match my frequency. That's how you have to think. If you're one with God, you are one with your undivided love. Therefore, be love to receive love. And anything that doesn't match it must be kept out until it does. You are deciding. The thing that baffles me the most is I don't understand how in the fuck, as women, we have forgotten that the relationship is with ourselves. That we are deciding the tone. This is not decided by the gentleman or by the mask energy in a same-sex relationship. No. The relationship is with yourself. You decide the tone. So if you've accepted scraps, don't get mad because you've accepted scraps. You've accepted scraps. Own it. Now change it. Your actions have to align in order for 3D to check you. It's that simple. Okay? It's that simple. You cannot be afraid anymore. There's no point in being afraid. You are here to master a vibration and allow 3D to check you. It's a mirror. I've given you guys so many shortcuts, and I realize what I understand. I had to read this in a book called The Extended Massive Orgasm, and it was really helpful to me because it said what I am teaching is the highest level of our understanding. And for those that are ready to hear it, they will hear my message and think, holy fuck, that's it. And they will get there. And for those that are not ready, okay, it will go over their head. So you're going to have work to do, and you're going to go to other coaches, and you're going to go to other people until you can catch up. And that's totally cool. But that's what I'm doing here. I'm teaching you what it says in the Bible. It says, climb all the way to the top, find God, and everything is added on to you. When you understand that you are that yourself is nothing more than all of your experiences made visible, turned into patterns, made to look like other bodies, but they are you. You get off the karmic wheel, because now if you know how to love yourself, you're going to treat someone accordingly, and you're going to expect the best from them. So you're going to be that version that is one with their love. Unafraid. So you enter that state. But if you're afraid to lose someone, you're not being loving. You're loving with attachment. You are loving not from the state that understands I am the source of that man. I am the source of that woman outside of me. That person is going to behave like I am on the inside. This person is my sacred mirror. This helps me understand what I'm doing. Not they're doing. I'm doing. Because when I'm doing exactly what I need to do for me, this person shows up accordingly. It is a mirror. It is a shortcut. If you don't use this shortcut because you're too busy trying to fix them, you've missed the point. You're not being one with your lover. You are not understanding that you are source. So therefore, this affirmation, I am one with God, therefore I am one with my undivided love, is not sinking in because my actions are not aligning with what I just said. So I don't care if you use affirmations. Just make sure you apply them. Make sure you actually live from that state. Make sure you actually do the things that you're saying this person would do. If you're not taking the time to think about who that person is, think, so that you can understand how this person feels, so that you can act accordingly, you're going to have a lot of trouble trying to get into your new state. But your state determines what you see outside, so master the state. All right? I have a call at 11, so I've got to go, but I'm probably running a little late. I love you guys. I took a little break. I apologize. I will be back in touch with everybody really soon. Think about what I'm saying. Think about what I'm saying. You want it quickly? Think, feel, do. Think, feel, do. Match the state. Do not go back. Avoid the temptation of your flesh because your spirit already said yes. What has been fleshed out is the old state. Avoid that temptation to run on autopilot. That was the reason I said, read that book 10 million times until you understand why you behave the way that you do, until you understand what's behind your attraction to other people, until you understand what you came to fix, until you see how every component served its purpose, until nothing in your reality is a mystery. Use the information. Yes, I have a great facility of understanding books and understanding how to apply them. That's where I come in. That's why you hire me. I understand that. So I'm giving you this so you can do it yourself. If you still need help, reach out. But at the end of the day, you are supposed to apply what you learned because that determines who you are. The adversity is built in. At least understand your autopilot behaviors. At least understand that everybody is innocent, that everybody's running on autopilot for you. When you specifically wake up is up to you. But when you do, the rest of the world does. It's a different level. We're all climbing up the same mountain to get to the same location, and that's you. That mountain that you climb internally that you can't see, about 2 feet above your head. Okay, you can't see it, but if I were to describe it on the other side of the veil, that's you're climbing about 2 feet above your head. If you understood how massive your body is, it'll feel like a great big distance, but you're going to have to climb it. And from that point, from source level perspective, you will understand why everything is the way that it is. Everything stops being a mystery. There is no suffering. There is nothing to forgive. You finally understood the purpose. And so now you are set free. Should you choose not to set yourself free, you will be weighed down where you will be triggered over and over again by your story until you own it. So own it. Take the shortcut and own it. Don't hold any grievances. See, when people say, I read Heal Your Wounds, Find Your True Self, and I just don't understand, I'm still mad at my mama. Yeah, you didn't understand the book, did you? Because you can't be mad at your mama. You picked her. You picked her so that you could wake up to this moment. And when you understand that, there's nothing to forgive. If anything, you owe that mama a whole shit ton of gratitude for playing her role very well. So when you can be thankful for the adversity, you can see how it served you. You've understood that book. Then you can heal. It's a shortcut. The shortcut is through you and no one else. But if you're going to continue to tell this story, woe is me, my parents, my blah, my blah, 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 and this is why I behave like this, and blah, 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 blah. Well, baby, go ahead and live that way from an injured standpoint. If you applied this book, you would understand. You would understand there's nothing to let go. There's nothing to forgive. You understood why you set it up. There's no more mystery here. Now you're free to be yourself because you're not going to behave like someone who is afraid to go through something again. The only reason you go through something over and over and over and over again is till you understand why it happened. Why it happened. When you understand why it happened, you no longer have to have it happen anymore. That's why you read Heal Your Wounds, Find Your True Self 10 million times till you get this understanding. Once you have it, you can put the book down. Once you understood, holy cow, I made this way. I made my dad do this. I made my mom do this. Had I not caught on to this, I would have been attracted to some guy who's going to repeat my mother's history because I am my mother. It's so simple. It like drives me nuts that you can't see that you have to know yourself. You have to understand everything about yourself. You have to understand it so you can see why everything is going on. Once you get that, there's no more mystery. There's no more resistance. There's no more fear. You can be whatever you want. You'll enter that state immediately. It's that simple. All right, I gotta go. Love you guys. Think about what I'm saying.